Finding comps. Step one. First thing I do is I Google the address. So why do I Google it first? Well, it shows me what the other real estate sites have for estimates. So they've done a lot of work for you, and they have found comps and given you an average of what they think that it's already worth. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% accurate, but it is accurate enough to make a phone call on. Number two is when you Google that address, Google may show you some things about the neighborhood, like if it's a high crime area, or, there's a lot of things. I know back when I first got into it, I ended up selling a house that somebody had passed away in the house, and they had stayed in the house for 3 or 4 days before somebody had found them. So those kinds of things are important in a lot of different ways. It didn't hinder me from selling it, but it is important information to know. So you're going to take about 10 minutes and look at what the other sites say about your subject property and what it's worth. And you may have to click on the different real estate sites and use their search bar and search your subject property address. So you're going to want to look at a minimum, I would say, 3 or 4 sites to see if you can come up with an average of what the other sites would say. Now, I've used, the most prominent sites out there. The most well known would be Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia.com, Homes.com, but there are so many more. So if you go to Google it and it comes up there, go ahead and look at those. But you may have to look up some of those other sites. And then the next thing is just to call the seller. We want to build rapport. We want to ask questions about the property. And we want to ask them what their asking price is for that property. And we want to gauge on if we're going to set up a site visit now, or if we're going to go back and look deeper into comps, which is what we're going to go into in the next several videos. So I hope this helps. Again, 2 to 10 minutes is what you should take time-wise before you make that phone call. Because if you spend hours to make a phone call and they come back to you and tell you a really high number, or they're not interested in selling right now, you've spent all of that time looking at comps for nothing. So just take a quick gander of what's going on and make that phone call.